Why are people complaining about mental health issues left, right, and center? Things like anxiety, things like depression, things like social anxiety, things like suicidal thoughts, self-hating thoughts, no desire to live, no energy to get up and live this beautiful life. Why is that? Is it the food and the things that are found in the food? Is it the things that are found in the water supply? Is it the air pollutants, the environmental pollutants and toxins? What is it exactly? Well, it is all these things and more, but all of these things are manifestations of the root cause. And I want to discuss with you here the root cause. The root cause of all these mental health issues that are becoming so prevalent worldwide is the way society is structured, period. Because the way society is structured, it's an environment that promotes mental health issues. You know, when you have a certain soil, a certain environment that promotes the growth of, I don't know, a papaya tree. We've got a papaya tree over here. It's got the right soil, it's got the right environment. And you see those papayas growing because it's the right environment. On the contrary, there are such environments that promote what? Promote the rotting of the tree. They do not only promote the growth of it, but you'll see the tree begins to rot. It begins to die. And our modern societies are structured deliberately, by the way, by design. By design. We don't have time in this video to get into who's behind that. Okay, but by design, they are structured to make human beings slowly die and slowly wither away. And it is actually primarily, it's food. Human suffering and human pain is food for particular spiritual entities that don't eat food like we do, like this. They eat food differently. It's an emotional based. And by keeping all of humans in a state of pain and suffering, that those entities get their food. They get to feed. They get to feast. You see? There is a beautiful saying, you know, every time you smile, a reptilian dies inside, right? It's true. They don't like the energy of laughter and smile, but they do like the energy of suffering. So anyway, that's beyond the scope of this video. But the way the society is structured. So let's take a look at your average Joe here. Your average Joe wakes up at 7 a.m. Not by choice, but by alarm clock. Wakes up very tired because of all the toxic lifestyle habits that he's into. The body has to spend so much time detoxing, so he wakes up and he's like, he needs his coffee in the morning. So you start off the day for raping yourself, basically. Forcing your body to wake up even though it just wants to stay in bed because it wants to detoxify, right? To get in a homeostasis, in a state of balance. Wakes up, first thing he puts in his body is coffee, which is a highly toxic substance, highly stimulating, highly toxic, highly acidic. It will cause you, if you drink it, after some time, it'll cause you ulcers, it'll cause digestive issues, it'll cause adrenal fatigue, all kinds of things, okay? So the average Joe starts their day with that, and perhaps a couple of donuts, a cookie, something like that, right? That's laden with preservatives, pesticides, toxic chemicals, dryness. There's no water in these things, they're dry. So there you go. That's your average Joe starting their body, their day by poisoning their body, basically. Okay, and raping their body to get up and go. And then sits in the traffic, either behind the car or in the train or in the bus for at least what? I think people on average commute for 45 minutes to an hour. That's the average, right? With some people a little less, some people more. If you live in a big city, probably an hour plus, right? Yeah, so you're sitting behind the car, instead of being out there in the beautiful nature, you know, smelling the roses and taking in beautiful clean air. So you're sitting around in a very stressful environment. Think of the roads with all the cars. Everybody's stressed. You got horns, you got it's a high stress environment, negative stress. And you're just taking in that stress and it's building up inside your system, building up inside your system, building up inside your system. And you're sitting there in a terrible posture. So you're compromising your integrity, literally. It's your physical integrity. You're compromising it, which compromises the breath, which compromises everything in your body and your mind also. You know, the reason why yogis spend so much time stretching and getting their posture right, learning how to sit, because in a certain way, if your posture is aligned, the energies move better. There's less energy blockages. So you're sitting behind a car or, you know, slushed over, you know, in a train or in a bus, in a high stress environment where everyone around you is feeling the same stress you are, which adds up to the overall stress. Then you go to a job, which I believe I read somewhere, and I believe that 87% of people are in a job that they don't like, they don't enjoy. So you go do something you don't enjoy, you slave your time away for 8 hours a day, interacting with people that are basically going through the same stress, the same thing. Then you repeat the whole commute thing again. And while you're doing it, what you're putting inside your body, you go for lunch, you just go get some food from McDonald's or the local restaurant or something, right? And so you're eating fast food, basically. And even if you're making your own food, you know, most people don't actually know what healthy eating is. So it may be an improvement from restaurants, and I salute that, but nevertheless, it's just going to be a slower death. If you're eating McDonald's every day, it's a faster death. Okay? So combine all that, so you have, and then you go back to your house, either to your children or your spouse, and your spouse is just as stressed as you, your children is just as stressed as you, and then everybody's just venting that stress onto one another, into that unhealthiness, because everyone's eating the same unhealthy foods, going through the same patterns, putting in the same toxic substances in their bodies, being exposed to the same toxic environments. And then on all of that, add the brainwashing that happens in TV. Yeah, you know, so for young girls, they go and they watch these reality shows and the Kardashians and blah blah blah, and then they feel insecure about their bodies. Oh, I don't have the same ass as Kim Kardashian or something, and that puts insecurities in the girls' head. Same thing with the boys. You know, they see these muscular men, and then they're like, well, I'm just skinny, I'm weak. And then all these insecurities are implanted in your head, or false dreams. So in my teenage years, up until about my early 20s, I used to have this poster with these Lamborghini and like Porsche and like these, you know, sport cars with a mansion behind it. And it says on it, justification for higher education. I was obsessed. I wanted to get a mansion. I wanted to get the nicest cars and everything. This program was just planted in my head by TV and media. And then my friends who were brainwashed by the same thing would brainwash me, and I would brainwash them like an echo chamber. So it's the way the society is structured. Nobody's teaching anybody how to grow their food. Nobody's teaching you how to take care of your finances, so you're dependent on the socioeconomic matrix. Nobody teaches you the value of just being out in nature. You know, nobody teaches you that, because most people spend their lives in concrete jungles. They're not even aware of the connection to the natural environment. I've talked in a previous video in my first psilocybin mushroom trip, how it was my first time realizing that humans actually like separate themselves from the natural world. You're wearing shoes all the time, you never get to connect with the earth and get those negative ions flowing through you and cleansing yourself. You're living in comfort. Most people would absolutely squirm at the thought of taking a cold shower, even though in nature, like I've got a river here, and you just go, like you just jump in it, like it's just nature. You know, you want to clean yourself, you just jump in the river. Most people are too comfortable, too sheltered. So it's the way the society is structured, which is deliberate, by the way. It's not by accident, right? It is the way that's going on in the social media and all the expectations. I mean, man, it's the way this whole thing is structured. That's the primary cause, the root cause of all these prevalent modern mental health issues. And so how do you escape that? Well, you recognize what's going on, and then you can begin to create a life that is different. Yeah, create your own heaven on earth. Whatever that looks like to you. Okay, whatever that looks like to you. You might create a community of like-minded, positive people in the middle of Manhattan. You know, it doesn't mean you have to come out to nature. Just you build your own structure, build your own community. You might own a little business. You hire a bunch of people that are like-minded, and you just build your own little community there, supportive community. But just build your own structure. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't. I'm not telling you to do what I do, which is basically just live simply, away from, all the electromagnetic radiations and blah blah blah, and just, like a life as close to nature as possible. I'm not telling you to do that, because that doesn't have to be for everyone. It truly doesn't have to be for everyone. But what I'm telling you is just build your own structure. Figure out what makes you happy and just do it. Plain and simple. I'm gonna keep things simple in this video. Do what makes you happy. What makes your soul sing and dance. What makes you want to serve and create. Structure your life in a way that makes you shine like a star. That's all I gotta say about this, okay? I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.